Hello and welcome back to the Jessica Pinelli podcast. How are we going? I'm super excited to do this episode because I think it's going to help a lot of you as we are coming towards the end of the year. But low key, I don't know about you. It gets to this time of year. I'm actually recording this on Halloween, October 31st. Happy Halloween. I know that I have a lot of American listeners and a lot of American viewers. You guys love Halloween. I'm having my American friends are sending me pictures. We don't really celebrate as big as you guys here in Oz, but actually, in the area I'm living in Brisbane, they have got a few decorations out and it's actually really cool. So happy Halloween at time of recording. But I feel that this podcast episode is going to come at the perfect time because I've been having these conversations with my clients, conversations with myself, my friends, my partner, because I feel that when it gets to this time of year, we start to kind of like check out, right? I know that I'm already in a little bit of a like, I'm in the festive season holiday mode already, but we still have goals to finish. We still want to finish the year strong. We don't want to use all the momentum that we have had and then let it go to wayside. So, this episode, I'm really going to discuss four questions, four self reflection questions on how you can make the most out of the rest of the year, how you can get back on track if you feel that you've lost track of what you've been doing, and really, these questions can be used at any time of the year. It doesn't just have to be at the end of the year, at any time of the year where you feel like you are ready for that next level of success, but you're not quite sure why you're not breaking through, or it seems really, really hard. And if you're watching here on YouTube, I appreciate you. And I would absolutely love if you could hit the subscribe button, if you could hit the thumbs up. And if you're listening to the podcast, I love you guys. I would love it if you left a 5-star review. If you left a written review, it means so much to me, to the podcast, because the podcast gets pushed out more and more. The lighting's a little bit different because I normally record the podcast during the day with the sun, and I'm not even going to say that I ran out of time today. I just had bad time management. I'm actually looking at the sun setting. The sky is like candy floss. It looks beautiful. But I was like, okay, I need to get out my box light because I'm in the mood to record a podcast. But we're going to go through these questions. I do, as always, want you to integrate these questions into your life. If you are like, I can't be fucked journaling, I get it. I had a period of time where I was just off journaling. Voice message yourself, write in your phone notes, write in a Google Doc, whatever you need to do to actually self reflect, because self reflection is key. I actually got interviewed for another podcast this week. It was great. Stay tuned on my Instagram at Jess Pinelli for all the details when it comes out. It was just such, I said to Autumn, who was Autumn today, she was actually on my podcast. Go listen to our episode. But when she interviewed me after, I was like, we need to do a part two for both of ours. They're completely different episodes and vibes, but they were just incredible. And something that I kept saying on this podcast that I think is important and I'm the biggest believer in is you need to continue to self reflect. And there's actually, sorry, I'm getting a little bit distracted. There's like a little, it's not a mosquito, a little fly in front of me. But you need to actually self reflect. You need to self reflect. You need to get into the habit of being able to sit down and see what's working really, really well and what's not working well. You need to be able to hold yourself accountable, because if you are at a part in your life, you're high achieving, you're ambitious, you have these big dreams and desires. Having big dreams and having big desires actually means nothing if you don't self reflect, if you actually don't know what is working well and what isn't working well. We need to understand what needs to be tweaked, what needs to be eliminated, what needs to be changed. And I think if that's where you're at, where you're a bit slack on the self reflection, or you don't even know where to start. You're like, okay, Jess, I'm ready for the next level. We're getting towards the end of the year. I want to finish strong, but I also want to set myself up for 2025. These questions are for you. So, number one, and if you see me looking on YouTube over to the edge, I've got them in notes because I'm like, I will forget the wording of all of them and I need you to have the exact wording. So, make sure if you are able to, not if you're driving, but if you're walking or doing whatever, pause these, write down these questions. Number one, what version of myself do I need to become to achieve the results I desire? And what's stopping me from stepping into her now? Asking this helps break down the limiting beliefs your brain is holding onto and being able to shift into a new identity. I know it seems like a simple question, and hearing that you may be like, "Oh, I already know." Write it down. Actually start to conceptualize what is happening into your head. Who do you want to become? But really getting honest on who you want to be. Had a conversation, a phone call with one of my Become the CEO students this week, and she was speaking out loud of a fear. And she's like, I've never said that out loud before. And now it makes so much sense. And I understand myself. I'm like, yeah, self reflection. This is key. So I want you to write that down, and I want you to go away to number one, think big. Like, what do you actually want to desire? What do you actually want to achieve? What do you actually desire? But also, what is stopping you? Honestly, and I need you to go deeper than, and the questions coming are going to help you with this. I need you to go deeper than, oh, I'm stopping myself because I'm too scared. Like, we need to go deeper than that to be able to move the needle in progress. Number two, where am I still playing small in my life or business or career? And what big movement am I avoiding because it feels uncomfortable? This question alone forces your brain to confront the comfort zone. So, our comfort zone basically is our nervous system. Our nervous system will stretch. And if you learn how to make it feel safe and to regulate to a new capacity, which is phase three of the Woman Mastery methodology, what you learn is to expand your comfort zone. If you have been an OG podcast listener, you would know that I have been saying expand your comfort zone, not step out, for years and years and years. And when you expand your comfort zone, you are able to bring in more abundance, more opportunities, better relationships, more money, etc., more success. But if you are constantly trying to expand your nervous system, and the point it gets to the scary, the risky, the like, oh my God, I'm about to change, you allow it to constrict, you're always going to go back and forth, always feeling like you're hitting that glass ceiling. So ask yourself, what's the move that actually makes me feel uncomfortable? Or moves? What are the things that I am actually avoiding that if I did, or I feel that I'm going to be judged for, or I feel I might fail, or I feel that it's too risky? What's on the other side of that? Yes, it could be the perceived negative, because law of polarity, without one, we can't have the other. But also, what's the perceived positive? And sometimes, if not, and what I've seen personally and with my clients, what I see all of the time is making that move, you start to stretch your capacity and more things happen. They move, doors open. We start to create momentum. And that's what I want you to start doing, especially as we're heading into a new year. So just write down, make a list. If you don't know where to start with this question, make a list. Like, think of, in my business, if I was to make this move, it scares the fuck out of me, but I know potentially the perceived positive outcome is XYZ. If I was to make this move with my money, the perceived positive outcome is XYZ. If I was to make this move in my relationship, or, do this type of conversation, whatever it may be, this is the perceived positive outcome. Question number three. What limiting beliefs are still controlling my actions, and how are they keeping me from my highest potential? Remember that our subconscious mind runs the show. It's 95% of us. So 95% of us is running on autopilot. It's our unconscious behaviors and our thoughts. And so we need to use the 5% of the conscious mind, tap into what is actually dictating our actions. How are we responding to life? How are we reacting to life? What are our motives? What are our behaviors? What are our patterns that are actually creating everything, all of my reality that I'm seeing? And when we understand that our subconscious beliefs are 95%, that's where our limiting beliefs are held, then we can understand that those limiting beliefs are exactly what are controlling our current actions. I was saying today on a live, I really know that I'm about to hit my next level, or I'm moving into the next level, because my subconscious brain is doing everything to self-sabotage. And I don't mean like the standard, every day today or every week to week self-sabotage, right? A little bit of procrastination or a little bit of self-criticism. I mean, it is doing everything to make sure that I am procrastinating, or I am thinking critically, or something's not working, or something pops up, manifests to come up, so I can't work towards the thing. And this is exactly our limiting beliefs at play. This is what we need to understand. So, what limiting beliefs are still controlling your actions? How are they keeping you from your highest potential? getting honest, I think a lot of the time as high achievers, we think that our ambition is enough and it's not enough. You actually need to be so understanding of what belief system is controlling your actions. And we're going to do a lot of this work inside of Identity Evolution. It's a 4-week program. We start very soon. I'm so excited. But we go into how to shift our identity, how to change our self concept, how to change our levels of consciousness, break down those walls of consciousness, and how to really tap into the identity that has the things that we desire, the identity that we say is our highest self. That's what we work on in Identity Evolution. And it's really just an overhaul of our level of consciousness and how we see ourselves. Because how you see yourself, how you perceive yourself in life, oh my God, I'm just looking at the sunset. It's so pretty. How you perceive yourself in life is exactly the reality you are going to create. So if you were struggling with this, or if you were struggling to see yourself differently, to show up differently, to change who you are and your identity, highly, highly recommend coming into Identity Evolution. All of the details are in the show notes below. And then question number 4, what boundaries do I need to set to protect my energy and elevate my standards in both my life and business/career? Your standards are everything. Most of the time, people have huge, big ambitions and desires, but their standards are low and they keep meeting at their low standards. And then they wonder why they're not getting their ambitions. Are your standards too low? Where do you need to raise them? I can guarantee this is a big missing factor in your personal growth journey. If your standards are where they have always been, or you keep lowering them because it feels more comfortable or it feels easier, and it's just too much to make them higher, you're always going to attract the exact same results. You're never going to go beyond where you currently are with your money, your relationships, your business, career, your health, or wellness. You're just not. You need to raise your standards. You need to raise your standards for who you want to become and what are the boundaries you need to put in place. Big, big boundaries I've had to put in place with a lot of my friends over the past few years in business, but I had to elevate my standards. I had to look at who I was becoming, who I wanted to become and step into and perceive myself, but I needed to have those boundaries. So I guarantee that you probably have a lack of boundaries and your standards are so freaking low. You need to raise those standards. If we're coming into 2025, if you're listening to this, if you are also a regular listener of the Jessica Pinili podcast, let me just tell you, it is time. This is a reminder to raise your standards, because I promise you are playing small. I promise you, if you do all of these questions correctly and you allow yourself to self-reflect, you will realize how low your standards actually are. And it's fine. This is why we check in. This is why we self-reflect. But until you realize how low your standards are, you will never actually fully understand what it means to get to where you want to go. You need to raise them, and you need to meet yourself at those standards over and over again. Remember, your brain is just reinforcing the same old patterns until you consciously challenge them. And this is why these 4 questions, like I said, yes, it's the end of the year, time of recording this, but you can use this anytime, middle of April, middle of June, doesn't matter when. You can use them anytime, because we need to consciously challenge what our brain is telling us to do. The 95% that is making up our subconscious, we need to challenge that. Self-reflection, it's not just about thinking, it's about reprogramming the way that your brain operates, shifting how we see ourselves, shifting how we show up in life and business and career. That's the main important thing. And if you want guidance, if you wanted to ask unlimited questions when it comes to self-concept, identity shifting, when it comes to being able to up-level your levels of consciousness and become a more balanced and conscious human being, come into Identity Evolution. I hope these questions have helped. Please go away and do them. Come and listen to this again. Write down the questions. Even come slide into my DMs, or if you're watching here on YouTube, let me know what you thought about these questions. If you've done them, what you got out of them, what it has taught you about yourself, and let me know. But I love and appreciate you guys. Next time I speak to you, we are going to be in November. Oh my God, it's nearly time to start playing Christmas music. I'm so freaking excited. Anyway, I love you guys. I appreciate you all, and I'll speak to you soon. Bye.